2022. Is there anybody here that would like to address the Planning Commission with any concerns or suggestions at this time?
Kathy, will you just note who's not present at today's
Oh,
meeting?
excuse me, yes. Everyone is here tonight, with the exception of Rob Wingfield, who has moved out of the city, Wanda Nye, who has been excused, and Amy Spires is here, but she's here by telephone. All other commissioners are present.
I am here.
Thank you, Amy. We're down to presentations and reports, Mr. Eggett.
Thank you. As noted in the work session, I'll do this in a brief format. There is a likely submittal for the Leslie's property at a future date, probably on the 10th is when I suspect that coming in January. The J-Dog site is moving forward. I anticipate them opening very soon. The Chick-fil-A site probably will reopen into January 1st of February. January Supercenter will open very soon. Home Goods and Sierra Trading Post probably more likely February, early March. And then I didn't note this in the work session, but Cheddar's is coming along pretty good as well. So we're hoping to see them open sometime maybe March, April is what it's feeling like. So that's pretty much what I have to report at this time. And then I did note this offline, I'll note it now in the meeting. Pay attention, coming January, February, that's when legislative session will start up, and I'll try to get you bill updates and links to bills so you can see all the fun that the state legislature is going to set up for us all to adjust to and accommodate and work through. So that's it.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any comments or changes for the meeting minutes from October the 25th, 2022? Is that date right? Oh, October, okay.
Make a motion.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion that we approve the consent items.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was
Aye.
unanimous. Thank you, Amy. And we are at action items. Consideration to approve and recommend City Council approval of Hamart Small Subdivision Plan and Plat located at approximately 5759 South Weber Drive, Riverdale, Utah, as requested by Alexis Hammer and Scott Hammer and Marino Martinez. Would you like to come and?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Scott.
Do you want me to briefly go over just a few report items?
Hold on, just a moment, and we'll invite you forward.
Okay, just noting, as noted in the work session, this is an R110 single-family residential zoned property area. At the time that I put the agenda together, I didn't have the other address figured out, but the two addresses for the lots will be 5759 South and 5761 South Weber Drive. The ownership, as noted in the packet, is Marino Management Services and Hammer Rentals LLC. There's an existing single-family residential dwelling on one lot, and then the accessory building on the other. I believe, and what it appears to be, the intent would be to demo that existing accessory building to allow it to be a future new residential dwelling lot in the future date. General plan for the site is set as agricultural, and the proposed project complies with that. Going over the planning review I have, just noting that the new address of 5761 South would need to be added for Lot 2 and the existing lot 5759 stay for Lot 1. Adding Riverdale City's name and address to the plat as the reviewing approving agency. The land surveyor's signature is not on the plat, but we anticipate that at a later date. Again, addressing of the layout lots as noted. Public areas feature curb gutter and sidewalk location not identified on site plan, but I will defer to Public Works and City Engineer. If it's not something they'll require, then I'll soften that and remove that. On the vicinity map, there's no north arrow shown, and scale just says note of none. It'd be good if it said not to scale as opposed to none, would be what we typically see there. Under consulting engineer stamp signature and date, I just have license expiration date and signature not provided at this time on site plan. Under name of approving agents with title stamp signatures and license expiration dates, I have stamps and signatures not shown at this time. Unknown if Morgan Weber Health Department, Weber County Surveyor signature required for plat. Those are two I don't normally see. That's why I'm just noting that. Maybe that's something that your engineer might want to look at. We don't normally see those on plats, but I mean, if they want to be on the plat, that's fine. Then we'll just have to make sure that those signatures are on there before we'll complete that. On page 4 of my review, right-of-way lines shown but not identified and called out as right-of-way. Face curb lines, this is not shown. Sidewalk, future sidewalk location not shown or identified as meeting city requirement for base step. So again, this is one I just noted, even showing where delineation of the sidewalk would be helpful to see. But again, that's one I typically will defer to the engineer and the public works director if it's a major concern. And then the planning strip not shown and identified if any is planned. Quite a bit of defer to city engineer. The hammers can look at the report and see what that is and review that with their engineer. There's no SWIP provided, but again, I defer to the public works director if it's required. Under gas, existing gas not shown, new lines if any not shown. Same for telephone poles, junction box, associated manholes not shown as existing or new locations. And then drainage runoff calcs not shown, but defer to city engineer. And I think on his report, he did note that he would like to see drainage and runoff calcs. So that'd be something that's needed there. Going to the public works director, his comments are under stormwater, they'll need a land disturbance permit from the city. Under streets, a note on the plat and letter stating the owner will be responsible for putting in curb and gutter and sidewalk at later date if required. So again, that comes back to showing where that curb gutter sidewalk will at least be, even if it's somehow delineated, and then obviously making sure that the owner knows they're responsible for that improvement if and when UDOT gets to a point where that's required and or the city is required to link to other future sidewalk and curb gutter. Water, provide what water shares will be used to meet water requirements. The next one, a backflow device meeting the state standards for high hazard on the sprinkler connection. And I think I thought I noted that water rights is, applicant to review public works if needed. So I should have highlighted that in yellow. That's my bad. Backflow device meeting state standards on high hazard and sprinkler connection, and then other, making a note that requires all missing non-functioning and or damaged surface improvements to be replaced. No concerns from the police or fire department. Looking at the engineer, there's 7 plat comments, which again, I think Mr. Hammer, if you'll just review it with your plat, with your engineer, that'd be great, or your surveyor, with Reeve. And then under general comments, there's a note added to the improvement, a note needed to add to the improvement drawing stating all structures should be removed from the 10-foot PUE area. There's guidance on a stormwater retention basin calculation and the basin in general, ways it's shown on the documentation and how the storm drainage will work. Drawing should include a finished grading plan with existing and finished contours. 5th comment, new sanitary sewer utility service to the site needs to be at least 4-inch SDR 35 and a minimum of 2% slope. 6, label frontage road at South Weaver Drive needs to be noted as State Route SR 60. 7, the roadway shall meet all UDOT requirements and per the pre-application review meeting. It's been approved, so I don't know why you're saying pre-application review meeting. They've approved the roadway permit. So include UDOT standard for roadway improvements as stated within their review report. 8, existing and or proposed driveways and widths need to be identified per UDOT notes. They recommend shared access. And then 9, which I don't know that I think our code doesn't allow for shared access. So I may have to talk to Mr. Freeman about that and let him know that our code requires, we went through this recently on a different project. I think it's 12 feet between driveways is the distance requirement. I have to check with Sean. He's the one that knows. And then 9, the drawing number states 1 of 4 sheets. We did not receive the other 3 sheets if there are any. So those are all of his comments. Quite not a lot considering it's a first submittal, honestly. And then you can see the application has been provided. No public hearing is needed. The fee has been paid for it. There's the conditional access permit that's been issued. It's not a draft. It's not a pre-application. It's the issued permit from UDOT for the site. You'll see it's storm runoff calculations. Oh yeah, so they did provide calculations. I don't know what I was thinking with my earlier report, so disregard my comment. They do have calculations, but they need to be revised, I think, per the engineer's comments. And then you'll see the actual plat and plan thereafter, and that's the extent of all the documentation on that. So again, as noted during the work session, the Planning Commission would be approving the preliminary plan and plat, and then you'd thereafter be able to make a motion as far as a recommendation to city council, however you deem appropriate. So
Can that be in one motion? Or
you could do it in one or two, however you see. Either way would work. Just make sure you note both items. And that would be it. And then you could ask Mr. Hammer to come up if you have questions for him.
Thank you, Mr. Hammer.
Yeah, what questions can I help with? If any?
We just needed your name, and we need to know your city of residence.
Pleasant View City.
Pleasant View City. Thank you, Mr. Hammer.
Yeah.
Okay, questions from the commission?
So the secondary lot that's
Yes.
being developed, is this going to be open for, to the public for purchase, or is this a
More
closed
than
transaction?
likely, yeah. More than likely, it's going to be the lot's going to be made available. We've had some interest from some private owners that want to reside in Riverdale. We've also had a couple builders express interest as well. We may build it ourselves, but it's kind of, as you're alluding to, the market may dictate what we decide to do. So.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I have a question,
Oh yeah.
Hey, Amy?
and maybe I missed it. I'm trying to keep up with everything. Is one of them going to already be an owner-occupied home?
So currently, the existing home has a tenant, but they have expressed interest to potentially buy and stay.
Okay, and then the other lot will be a spec home?
Potentially by us, or we would sell the lot for someone to build their residence.
Okay.
And we're finished, and then there would be a motion in order.
I'll make the motion that we approve and recommend to the city council the approval of the Haymart small subdivision plan and plat located at approximately 5759 South Weber Drive, Riverdale, Utah 84405, as requested by Alexis Hamer, Scott Hamer, and Mario Martinez, pending review and completion of the items noted by staff.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Could I just suggest addition of the city engineer with the staff and city engineer?
Staff and city engineer.
If you accept that, and there's a second, accept that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Would you poll the commission, please? Aye. Yes?
Yes?
Aye.
Hi.
Yes.
Okay, that has been unanimous. Thank you so very much
Okay.
for coming.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Alexis, you just email or call me and I'll direct you
I will.
steps, okay?
Yeah, okay. Thank you guys.
All right, our next item, review and discussion of amendments made to the updated moderate income housing plan element of Riverdale City General Plan to be in compliance with House Bill 462 requirements. Mr. Eggett?
Just as was briefly noted, we discussed it at length during the work session, so if anybody listening or interested wants to find out more about it, I would direct them to listen to the work session minutes. But the bottom line is we've gotten approval from Alyssa Gamble with the state, Utah State Department of Housing. She's the Moderate Income Housing Program Manager. We've been back and forth quite a bit over the last month. Finally have approvals with the language that's the draft language in your packets this evening. And as such, we feel like we're heading in the right direction to cure the deficiencies, meet the mark, and have everything in compliance before the deadline of mid-February as such. So that's really all I'll say at this point, other than what's already been discussed in the work session.
Okay, it was a good work section discussion. With that,
Make a motion.
yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we set a public hearing for January the 10th regarding proposed amended updates to the moderate income housing plan, element of the Riverdale City General Plan, and corrections to meet new requirements of the moderate income housing plan as discussed at the work session.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. And that was unanimous as well. Thank you, everybody. Do we have any comments from the Planning Commission? Anything you'd like to bring up?
Everybody have a happy new year,
Very good.
and I'll see you all next year.
Yes, okay. I think you had a
I was just going to make a motion, we adjourn.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to hang up on you, Amy.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you soon.